Okay, the first thing that we do is we upload the webERP zip file to the root directory, and we unzip it. And that creates a directory called webERP. And the next thing that we do is we go create a database. And after we've created the database, then we create a database user. And after we create a database user, we assign the database user to the database. And we give them all the privileges during the install. We can take some back later. So now we have a database and we have a user, and the user is assigned to the database. Okay, now that we've unzipped everything, you'll notice that the permissions over for the webERP folder is 777. That's real good if you're installing on your own server in-house on your own network, but if you're installing on the cloud, that's not allowed. So we have to go in and we have to change those permissions, or else it won't work. So the easiest way to do is to use FileZilla, and connect to the site, go to the root, find the webERP subdirectory, and right click on it and choose File Permissions. Now we're going to set the directories to 755, so we say recurse subdirectories, and we choose Apply to Directories Only, and we click OK. That's going to take a few minutes. One of the reasons webERP is difficult to install is every host is different, and they all have different settings. For instance, the magic quotes, you got to be sure those are off. We have a PHP ini file that does that. There's a couple of other little tricks that can really trip you up. Temporary file and its permissions have got to be set correctly. Okay, looks like the directories are done. So again, we right click on webERP, we choose File Permissions, and this time we're doing 644. Recurse subdirectories, and this time we're applying it to the files. Okay, so while the permissions are being changed, we have to wait, because the next thing to do is to log into the install program, and all the permissions have to be changed first. You want to be real careful when picking a host for webERP. You want to be sure and get a host that optimizes for database-driven websites. They'll all try to tell you that. My favorite is Rochen host. They host the Joomla websites, which is content management software that's database-driven. All of my webERP sites work real well under Rochen. Can't say that for any other host. So I'd highly recommend Rochen. I'm a reseller for them, so I can get you an account for the same price they charge, and then you have another layer of support that's knowledgeable about webERP. Okay, so our rights are all changed. So now we're ready to log into the webERP directory, and there's a subdirectory under there called install, and an index.php file there that'll pull up the install program. You want to be sure you got all green up here and here, and we're going to put in our database user. password. Here we're going to put in for the company name. You're supposed to use the database name. If you're on a hosted situation, you want to be sure you uncheck this. You will not get your database if this is checked. Now let's go find the logo file. And we need to create we need to put in an email address for the admin and a password for the admin. Okay, so we've got a couple problems here. First of all, we have magic quotes that are on. So let's go to the file manager and let's upload. I have a file already prepared that we'll upload, and then I'll show you what's in it. Very small pop file, so it only takes a second. I put it in the wrong directory. It actually needs to go in the webERP directory. Now let's go look at it. php.ini. And you can see registered globals are turned off and magic quotes are turned off. So now that we've moved that file into the webERP file, we can refresh and our magic quotes error goes away. We still have this other error, and it's about a session variable. Quite often the session directory doesn't get set up correctly. So what we need to do is two things. One, we want to go edit the config PHP and put in a temporary directory path. Here's the config PHP file. And what we have to do is put in the correct variable name. It's going to take me a minute to find it. The variable name is in session inc, which is in the include directory. It's down around line 24, called session save path. Let me copy that with a $sign. Into our config.php file, and we say that's equal to tmp. Okay, we save that, and then we go to the file manager. Into the webERP directory, and here we're going to create a new folder, and we're going to call it TMP. Let's check it. It looks like it has the correct permissions, and so let's refresh our webERP, and now all of our messages are gone. So we're going to log in using admin and the password that we set up during the installation. Yikes. logged into webERP. Now you're ready to go into setup